Exclusive contract from Feilu Novel Network Novel. Siheyuan. Drew Resident Evil dungeon at the beginning. Tianya traveled to the quadrangle courtyard during the Great Famine period. At the beginning, bind the lottery system and draw the movie world dungeon of Resident Evil. The gains in the dungeon not only helped him solve his personal survival problems, but also gradually changed the world. The emergence of a large amount of fertilizers and high-yield seeds has saved the people of Han Dynasty from suffering from cold and hunger. The emergence of black technology that has been leading the real world for decades has led to the bankruptcy of Yanguzi Technology Company. The awakening of the sleeping lion completely shattered Uncle Sam and Rasha Mao Zi. As Zhou Xiaobai, Tian Runi, Zhang Wan and other girls appeared one by one. Tianya's life has also become colorful and flavorful. Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. Chapter 1. Blood Drawn to Death. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In January 1961, it was established at the People's Hospital of Ducheng. Comrade, wake up, wake up. Tianya felt a sharp pain on her face in a daze and suddenly opened her eyes. I saw a young girl wearing a white coat pinching him among the people. It hurts me so much, let go, let go, let go. Tianya shouted. Comrade, that's great. You finally woke up, you scared me to death just now. The girl breathed a sigh of relief. Tianya was about to ask what happened just now. My head suddenly seemed to explode. The memory of another person keeps flooding into his mind. It turned out that he traveled to a young man with the same name and surname in the 1960s. My predecessor lost his father in his early years and his mother at the beginning of the year, and life was quite difficult. Today, I went to the hospital to donate blood just to eat some meat, risking my own life. Comrade, are you okay? The girl saw that Tianya had not spoken for a long time, and then she expressed her concern. I was almost drawn to death by you, can I still be okay? Tianya rubbed his swollen head and responded angrily. My predecessor only intended to donate 200 cc of blood to the hospital. As a result, under the influence of others, more than 400 cc of blood was drawn. This caused his predecessor, who had been in a state of malnutrition for a long time, to hiccup on the spot, and also gave him a chance for Li Dai Tao to stiffen. Sorry, sorry. The girl apologized repeatedly with a crying voice. Tianya didn't want to make things difficult anymore when he saw her pear blossom with rain, and weakly waved his hand. Go, find the bastard who tricked me in the previous meeting. The girl was granted amnesty and quickly ran out of the hospital room. Tianya pondered on his future life. From the era of abundant clothing and food in the 21st century to the era of Great Famine, he also became a member of the Man-Chin quadrangle. He has many problems to face. For example, the most important issue is eating. My predecessor is 18 years old this year and I am an intern doctor at Red Star Steel Rolling Plant. A monthly apprentice salary of 18.5 yuan plus a 2 yuan work allowance, with a fixed amount of 28 kilograms of grain. With so little money and food, we can only barely guarantee that we won't starve to death. Moreover, the 1960s was still a magical era. Personal behavior and words require special attention. Otherwise, it is very likely to be put on a big hat and pulled to the streets for public display. Just as Tianya was racking her brain to think about how to survive in this world. The girl walked back with a middle-aged man who looked like a cadre. The middle-aged man's name is Ma Huacheng and he is the head of the hematology department at the People's Hospital of the capital city. Previously, he deceived his predecessor into donating more blood. So much so that his predecessor fainted just as he finished drawing blood. But he didn't think it was too strict, he just asked someone to take his predecessor to the hospital room to rest. Comrade, it's great if you have nothing to do. Here is your blood donation certificate and subsidy, please keep it. Ma Huaqing pretended to care and said. Hand Yi Tianya 1 order and 2 steel refining 5 yuan and 4 cans of meat. According to existing regulations, there are many rewards for workers donating blood. Not only do you have money to take, but you can also enjoy a 3-day paid vacation with a blood donation certificate. More importantly, since June 1st last year, there has been an additional meat subsidy. Blood donors will receive a subsidy of 1 pound of meat per donation of blood above 200 cc, and 2 pounds of meat per donation of blood above 400 cc. Its predecessor was donating blood for meat subsidies. Unfortunately, people died before the meat was eaten, and the meat subsidy became canned aged meat. I almost got killed by you. Are you using this little thing to send me away? Yi Tianya did not go to pick up the things handed over by Ma Huaqing, but asked coldly. Little comrade, you can eat randomly and speak without permission. You voluntarily come to donate blood, and we will draw blood according to regulations. If your physical condition is not good, you have fainted. What's my concern? Ma Huaqing said with a stern face. I came to donate 200 cc of blood, but you drew several times. If it weren't for my great fortune, I would have reported to the underworld long ago. If you don't give me a satisfactory explanation today, I will definitely sue you. Yi Tianya was furious. The difference between 200 cc and 400 cc may not seem significant, but it can be fatal for a person with long-term malnutrition. Anyone with a little medical knowledge can see this, but their predecessor was still drawn 400 cc of blood. If there were no tricks involved, he wouldn't believe it even if he died. Okay, if you have the ability, go sue me. Anyway, you're okay. Ma Huaqing's eyes flickered with a hint of panic, but his mouth remained firm. Do you think I'm afraid? I'll go find your dean and ask him if a person who is 1.75 meters tall and weighs less than 100 pounds can have a blood draw exceeding 400 cc at once. If he says it's not possible, I'll report it to the police. After Yi Tianya finished speaking, he stood up and prepared to go find the hospital leader. But before he could land on his feet, he felt dizzy and fell on the hospital bed. The sequelae of excessive blood loss are still ongoing, and he is a bit overwhelmed. The girl quickly stepped forward to help him sit down and brewed a bowl of hot brown sugar water. Under her service, Yi Tianya drank the whole bowl of brown sugar water and finally regained some strength in her body. Comrade, can you do me a favor? Yi Tianya asked. Okay, you can tell me, the girl said without hesitation. My name is Yi Tianya, and I am a worker at the Red Star Steel Rolling Plant. Could you please call our medical department and say that I am about to be killed here? Please bring the police to rescue me as soon as possible, our leader. Yi Tianya said seriously. Ordinary people of any era want to seek justice for themselves. The best way is to make things bigger as much as possible. The bigger the trouble, the better. Because only by causing a sensation and attracting the attention of leaders can problems be solved. So he also plans to do so, inviting the leaders and colleagues of the steel rolling mill to come and help. You should know that the Big Brother workers are not calling for nothing these days. As long as they can come to the hospital and make a big fuss, it will definitely be enough to transform into a drinking pot, and he can also maximize his benefits. Ma Huaqing's face couldn't help but change when he heard that he was going to cause trouble. The reason is very simple. The blood consumption of the Municipal People's Hospital is very large, and relying solely on blood stations for supply and ordinary people donating blood is far from enough. For this reason, the hematology department specially raises a group of socially idle individuals to donate blood, which is called blood donation, but in reality, it is selling blood. The hospital leadership and superior departments tacitly approved his behavior, and even granted special funds to supply blood to the hematology department for purchase and use. And in order to make a profit from the price difference between paid and unpaid blood, he often asks people to draw more blood from ordinary blood donors. Anyway, they don't know if they smoke more or less, as long as they don't die. But if the police intervene and continue to investigate, his trouble will be very big. Comrade Chiu Nan, you go out first. I need to discuss the issue of compensation with Comrade Yi Tianya alone, Ma Huaqing said in a somewhat flustered tone. The girl hesitated and looked at Yi Tianya. After Yi Tianya nodded, she slowly withdrew from the ward. Chapter 2. Compensation obtained. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. After nearly half an hour of friendly and intense negotiations, Yi Tianya and Ma Huaqing finally reached an agreement. The hospital compensated him with 100 yuan, 50 kilograms of food vouchers, and 20 canned meat as compensation for lost work and nutrition expenses. He needs to sign a commitment letter to ensure that this matter will not be pursued again. Yi Tianya is quite satisfied with this result. At the same time, Ma Huaqing was asked to write a situation manual to avoid being beaten up afterwards. After both sides had established their arguments, Ma Huaqing reluctantly handed him a cloth bag containing compensation. Comrade Yi Tianya, are you satisfied now? Can you leave now? Chief Ma, why are you in a hurry? You need to catch your breath before hanging yourself. Yi Tianya smiled and took the cloth bag. Carefully count the banknotes, food stamps, and canned goods in the cloth bag. Then he put the regular blood donation allowance on the bedside table into a cloth bag. Finally, I opened another can and started eating it. This kind of Great Wall brand canned braised beef, exclusively for export, weighs 250 grams each and can be opened and eaten immediately. He thought he wouldn't be able to eat this greasy canned food. However, the body is very honest, and after finishing one, I still want to eat a second one. My predecessor had not eaten enough food for over a year and had not eaten meat for over half a year, and my body was extremely lacking in nutrition. If you let go of your stomach and eat, eating 3 or 4 cans is not a problem. He dared not eat more, afraid that his stomach, which lacked oil and water for a long time, would not be able to bear it. Chief Ma, come and have a cigarette to refresh me. I'll leave after smoking. Yi Tianya wiped his mouth with his sleeve and extended his hand to Ma Huaqing. Ma Huaqing slowly took out a pack of peony cigarettes from his pocket. Before he could draw a cigarette from it, Yi Tianya had already snatched the entire pack of cigarettes. You! Why are you like a bandit? Ma Huaqing said angrily. I am a bandit, you are a bandit. Don't talk about second brother, bring the matches quickly. Yi Tianya said casually. Ma Hua became the plague god who had sent him away earlier, so he had to take out another box of matches and throw it to him. Yi Tianya lit a cigarette with a match and took a beautiful puff, then casually put the cigarette and match into his pocket. Ma Huaqing dared not speak out and could only pretend not to see. At this moment, the door of the ward was pushed open again. Chen Yi, the head of the medical department at the steel rolling mill, walked in. The girl from the previous meeting was still a bit uneasy after leaving the ward, hesitating and repeatedly calling the steel rolling mill. So he hurriedly rushed to the hospital. Tianya, are you okay? Chen Yi was surprised to see Yi Tianya swallowing clouds and mist. Uncle, I almost lost too much blood and had to go see Marks. Fortunately, the comrades in the hospital rescued me in time and pulled me back from the brink of death. Chief Ma, do you think so? Yi Tianya instinctively extinguished the cigarette and sat up straight to answer. Chen Yi was a former father's comrade in arms and a sworn brother, who took great care of his predecessor. Not only did he care about everything in life, but he was also arranged to work in the medical room of the steel rolling mill. So his predecessor highly respected his uncle. Right. The situation in the previous meeting was really dangerous, but fortunately it was saved. Ma Huaqing nodded busily. As long as Yi Tianya doesn't shake off those who have drawn more blood, he is willing to cooperate. Tianya, I told you a long time ago that due to your physical condition, it's not suitable for you to donate blood. You just won't listen. It's okay now, Chen Yi said with a stern face. He did not agree to his predecessor taking leave to donate blood to the hospital. But his predecessor had to offer meat to eat, so he had to reluctantly approve the fake. At this moment, Tianya's face turned pale as if she had applied a layer of flour, which looked very heartbreaking. "Uncle, I'm fine. Just take a few days off and I'll be fine." "Don't worry," Tianya replied. "Thank you for laughing so hard. If something really happens to you, how can you live up to your deceased parents?" Chen Yui couldn't help but say. "Uncle, isn't this good for me, and I also have meat to eat?" Tianya playfully displayed his spoils of war with a smile on his face. "You stinky kid, is life important or eating meat important?" "Hey." Chen Yui sighed helplessly. Blood donation comes with meat to eat and subsidies to receive, as many people in steel mills know. But they are more aware that these subsidies cannot make up for the lost vitality. Therefore, it is rare for people to voluntarily donate blood unless life really cannot continue. At 3 p.m., at the entrance of the courtyard at number 95 Nanluoga Lane. "Uncle, why don't you come to my house and have a cup of hot tea before leaving?" Tianya got off the back seat of his bicycle and greeted Chen Yui, who had brought him back. "There's something else going on in the factory, so I won't go in. You stay at home and rest well. Don't go out and run around again." "I'll come see you later," Chen Yui instructed. "Uncle, take these cans back and give them to Auntie in her to taste." Tianya took out 4 canned meat from his cloth bag and put them in his bicycle basket. Chen Yui already knew that he had turned his horse into a pen, so he did not refuse. After watching him leave, Tianya turned around and walked into the Man-Chin quadrangle. Host opens a new life, system officially activates binding. He had just crossed the threshold of the courtyard when a cold mechanical sound suddenly sounded. Then a lot of information entered his mind, leaving him frozen in place. Chapter 3. Crazy Fan Jia Zhang's Family. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The system activated by Tianya is called the Good-Evil Lottery System. According to the system's explanation, in the future, doing good deeds will earn merit, while doing bad deeds will increase karma. Both merit and karmic power can be used for lottery, but the things drawn are different. The merit lottery leans towards bright rewards, while the karmic lottery leans towards dark rewards. But when the total karmic value exceeds the total merit value, the lottery system will be temporarily closed until the merit exceeds the karmic value. These two lottery methods are divided into 3 levels. Beginner lottery, intermediate lottery, and advanced lottery. The beginner level lottery only requires 100 points of merit or karma, while the intermediate and advanced levels require 1,000 and 10,000 points respectively. The high-level lottery may result in the highest level of prizes, followed by the intermediate level, and the lowest level of prizes for the beginner level. The ability to draw anything from the world within the system depends entirely on luck. The beginner gift package has been stored in the temporary warehouse of the system and will be destroyed in 24 hours. Please check it as soon as possible. Before Tianya could finish digesting the system information, another system prompt sound came on. Good people still have good karma, Tianya regained his senses and grinned heartily. He was originally feeling anxious and uneasy because he had traveled through this pathological era, afraid of accidentally burping his butt. Now that the system is in place, I finally have enough confidence to save 6 children who fell into the water and died once. Tianya, why are you laughing foolishly? You're blocking the way, okay? A plump hand patted Tianya's shoulder from behind. Tianya was startled and the cloth bag in his hand fell to the ground. He turned around and saw that it was the famous necromancer in the courtyard. Jia Zhang. Aunt Jia, don't you know that people are scary and terrifying? Tianya couldn't help but say. Jia Zhang didn't listen to him at all, his eyes fixed on the canned meat rolling out of the cloth bag. Not only her, but also other residents in the front yard couldn't help but swallow saliva when they saw the floor full of canned meat. Because since the second half of last year, it has been difficult for ordinary people to eat meat. Some difficult families have not even touched meat foam. Seeing a pile of canned meat suddenly, how could one not be jealous and drooling? Tianya, where did you get so many canned meat from? Everyone has a share, let's try some. Zhang spoke with a smile on his face and without a smile, with a strong hint of questioning in his tone. Aunt Jia, don't daydream. Tianya picked up the canned meat on the ground while mocking. These canned meat were exchanged for life by their predecessors, how could they possibly benefit outsiders? Zhang wanted to have their ideas, but there was no way. Zhang from the neighboring courtyard stole 2 pounds of white noodles from the public house. He was sentenced not only to prison, but also caused their courtyard to bear the reputation of being a thief. You stole so many cans, what should we do if it implicates us? Zhang sneered. Nowadays, the common people only have 3 liang of meat tickets per month, and it is still unknown whether they can buy meat. Tianya suddenly brought back so many cans, she took it for granted that they were stolen, and she even wanted to get a share of it. Pop. Tianya slapped Zhang with a backhand. You. Dare you hit me? Zhang was stunned and stuttered, covering her face. The residents in the front yard also looked at Tianya with a bewildered expression. In their impression, he is a very introverted and cowardly person, often unable to hit a fart with 3 sticks. Today, she went against the norm, scolding Zhang and giving her a big comparison. Zhang, which dog's eye did you see me stealing? If you keep talking nonsense and damaging my reputation, I will definitely tear your mouth apart. Tianya roared. Fame is very important these days. Units will give priority to those with good reputations when evaluating and promoting them. Young people also pay more attention to the other person's reputation when looking for a partner, while other conditions are secondary. Therefore, how could he let Zhang ruin his reputation? You little bastard and thief who killed your parents, I'll fight with you, Mom. Zhang became angry with embarrassment and directly used the 9-in white bone claw. Fatty old lady, I warned you before. If you want to die yourself, don't blame me for not giving face. Tianya dodged her claws and grabbed her collar, slapping her face wildly. 1, 2, 3. It wasn't until 2 bright red 5-finger mountains appeared on Zhang's face that the neighbors reacted and pulled them apart. Punish the long-tongued woman and reward 10 points of merit. As soon as Tianya stopped, the system beeped. This has made him extremely happy. Hitting someone can still bring merit, but in the future, we should find more opportunities to beat Jia and Zhang. Hey, it hurts me so much. Can anyone help me report to the police and catch this thief? Zhang regained her breath and let out a series of mournful cries. Fatty old lady, please curse again and see. Tianya wanted to break free from the arm being held by everyone before going to repair her. Helplessly, the body was too weak, and it took a lot of effort to teach Zhang a lesson. Despite working hard for a long time, he still couldn't make a move. Tianya, don't be impulsive. If the police come, you'll be in trouble, Sandama kindly reminded. Aunt San, the can was obtained by me donating blood. There is a hospital certificate in the bag, and the police can take this fat woman back and lock her up for a few days. I'll see if she dares to slander anyone in the future. Tianya understood her meaning and confidently replied. Impossible, there aren't so many cans of blood donation. You must be lying, Zhang shouted. Aunt San, please show everyone the proof. Tianya said. Aunt San immediately took out the situation manual written by Ma Huacheng from the cloth bag and read it out on the spot. 100 yuan, 50 kilograms of grain coupons, 20 canned meat. She and the other residents in the courtyard were so envious when they learned about Tianya's compensation. Zhang was both surprised, afraid, and unbelievable. She never expected what Tianya said to be true. Fatty old lady, if you chew your tongue again in the future, I will definitely pull out your tongue. Tianya saw that he had proven his innocence, and after giving up a harsh sentence, he picked up a can and entered the courtyard. He is eager to go home to study the system and receive beginner gift packages, unwilling to waste any more time. Anyway, in the future, the president will live in a courtyard house, and there will be plenty of opportunities to clean up the Jia and Zhang families. Chapter 4. Newcomer Gift Pack. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Oh my goodness, the compensation that Tianya has received is too generous. Isn't that right? 50 pounds of grain vouchers and 20 canned meat can be enough for our family to eat for several months. There is still 100 yuan left, which will cover our old Chen's 3-month salary. Hey, our relationship with him is average, otherwise it's better to borrow a can to taste it. As soon as Tianya left, Aunt San and a few other old ladies started whispering to each other. Every household lacks food, and the canned meat brought back by Tianya is enough to make them salivate. If it weren't for the embarrassment, they would have wanted to grab a can of meat and taste it. Hey, it hurts so much. Jia Zhang's mournful cries interrupted their discussion. Everyone suddenly remembered that there was another injured person nearby. Old sister. Law, how are you? Is it okay? Aunt San reached out to help Jia Zhang, who was lying paralyzed on the ground. My face hurts so much. Tianya, this little bastard who killed thousands of dollars, I'm going to the police station to sue him. Jia Zhang suppressed the pain on her face and gritted her teeth. Old sister. Law, why don't you save it? It's good if Tianya didn't sue you, said Aunt San, shaking her head. That's right, sister. Law. You accuse him of being a thief and call him a bastard. He only slaps you a few times, which is considered light. It's not good for you to continue causing trouble, agreed another aunt. They witnessed the whole incident and did not believe that Tianya was wrong. On the contrary, it was Jia Zhang who repeatedly caused trouble and cursed harshly. Being taught to be a person was purely a matter of self-blame. If you still want to do the same thing now, it will only make people more contemptuous. I've been beaten up like this, how could you still help that little bastard talk? Do you have any conscience? Jia Zhang was so angry that she almost turned her back and asked angrily. When everyone saw her treating kindness like a donkey's liver and lungs, they immediately became unhappy. Old sister. Law, please do it yourself. I'm going home to cook. After Aunt San finished speaking, she let go and no longer cared about her life or death. The other aunties went home without saying a word. They already didn't like Jia Zhang, and coupled with her lack of respect, she became even more lazy to pay attention. Jia Zhang remained in place for a long time, and finally angrily returned to the middle courtyard. On the other hand, Tianya is visiting her new home in this world. His home is located in the westernmost corner of the courtyard of a quadrangle. Next door is the home of the deaf old lady, and ahead is the home of Su Dumao. The area of the two rear cover rooms is about 40 square meters, which is enough for him to live with a single dog. However, the conditions are too poor, and it can be described as having nothing to do. The only electrical appliances in the house are 3 incandescent lamps, and even an antique bed is missing a leg and being padded with bricks. My predecessor's mother was a medicine jar and needed to take medicine all year round to hang her life. When I passed away last year, I spent a lot of money on a funeral. So not only did he clean up the family's finances, but he also owed hundreds of dollars in foreign debt. Fortunately, Tianya had already been mentally prepared and didn't pay much attention. System, open the property panel. After silently reciting a sentence in his heart, a virtual screen appeared in front of him. Host. Tianya age. 18 years old height. 175 cm weight. 48.6 kilograms strength. 55 ordinary people 60.100 agility. 59 ordinary people 60.100 physical strength. 58, average 60.100, intelligence. 81, average 60.100, merit. 999/999, can be used for beginner level lottery, karma. 36 skill. None ability. Nun Yi Tianya stared at various data on the screen and couldn't help but shake his head. 3 out of the 4 basic attributes failed, indicating how poor the physical fitness is. No wonder my predecessor belched when he drew more blood. System, help me open the beginner gift pack. Yi Tianya took a deep breath and issued a new command with great anticipation. D. Congratulations to the host for obtaining a super serum. D. Congratulations to the host for obtaining a bottle of advanced plant growth liquid. D. Congratulations to the host for obtaining 1 intermediate ring. As the system beeped one after another, 3 things appeared in front of him. A metal syringe, a glass bottle, and a black ring. Yi Tianya grabbed the metal syringe casually, and the product description came to her mind. Super serum. A product from the end of the world, which can quickly improve human physical fitness by 5-10 times. Through exercise, it can enhance physical fitness by up to 100 times, strengthen self-healing ability, and be immune to any toxins. It can be injected for use without any side effects. This is good, Yi Tianya was overjoyed. His predecessor's frail body made him very dissatisfied. Having super serum can completely solve this problem. He couldn't wait to check the other 2 things before taking off his tattered cotton jacket and other clothes. Pick up the metal syringe and insert the small needle at the front into the left arm. As the blue liquid inside the syringe slowly flows into the blood vessels and merges into the bloodstream. His breathing became rapid, his heart rate continued to accelerate, and his body temperature gradually increased. Immediately after, a tearing pain spread from all over the body. Oh my God, what about the promised no side effects? Scammer. Yi Tianya didn't forget to scold the system before she fainted happily. Unfortunately, the system lacks intelligence and naturally will not respond. Chapter 5. Beating the Silly Pillar. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Dong dong dong. The loud knocking on the door woke up Yi Tianya, who was still asleep. Yi Tianya, get out of here. Outside the door came another irritable male voice. Yi Tianya jumped up from the bed and grabbed the black ring that was still floating in the air. Intermediate ring. A fantasy world product with 1,000 cubic meters of independent space that can hold any item. After learning about the information about the ring, he didn't hesitate to put it on his right little finger. It quickly integrated into the fingers, leaving only a black line. At the same time, Yi Tianya also sensed a space much larger in volume than his home. When he put the glass bottle containing advanced plant growth liquid into the ring, the irritable male voice just now rang out again. Yi Tianya, don't think hiding at home will be okay. If I count to 3, if you don't open the door again, I'll kick the door. Yi Tianya's great mood was disrupted, so she had to put on a tattered cotton jacket and open the door. At this point, many people had already gathered in the open space at his doorstep. Among them was Zhang, who had been taught a lesson by him before, and the person who was shouting was Siheyuan, a resident of the intermediate people's court. He relied on his tall and imposing physique, as well as the favoritism of the courtyard steward Zhonghai, making him the ruler of the courtyard. What do you want, Siheyuan? Yi Tianya asked lightly. Yi Tianya, you're a big man who actually bullied Aunt Jia and a woman. I'm here to seek justice for her. If you're sensible, hurry up and apologize to her, otherwise I'll hit you and apologize. Siheyuan shouted. He came back from work at the steel rolling mill to deliver lunch boxes to the Jia family. I discovered 2 bright red 5-finger mountains on Zhang's face and quickly asked for the reason. Zhang reversed the truth and said that Yi Tianya bullied their orphaned and widowed mother, and slapped her dozens of times. So he volunteered to trouble Yi Tianya, hoping to win the favor of Qin Huairu. Qin Huairu was a widow of the Jia family who had just lost her husband. A person is very beautiful, not to mention having sufficient capital, and has a strong feminine flavor. Many male compatriots in the courtyard are drooling over her. He Yuzhu, a child chicken, was even more captivated by her. In order to kiss Fangzi, he spared no effort to become her loyal sweet dog wholeheartedly. He Yuzhu, what kind of person are you from the Jia family? What qualifications do you have to seek justice for her? Is it possible that you want to take over and help the Jia family raise their children? That's like having a father, having a son. Yi Tianya joked. He Yuzhu's son, He Daqing, abandoned his daughter and went to another city to help others raise children for a widow. He Yuzhu inherited his father's fine traditions and also liked widows and helping others raise children. In the TV series, if Lu Xiaoyi had not been present, their father and son would have had the same ending. When he was old and unable to earn money, he was kicked out of the house by a group of white-eyed wolf children and eventually fell into the streets and died silently. Haha. The backyard was filled with laughter as people watched the commotion. Since Jia Dongxiu passed away a few months ago, He Yuzhu has been paying homage to the Jia family. Either bringing lunch boxes to their house from time to time, or borrowing food to lend money to Qin Huairu. What kind of hearten is, it can be said that everyone knows Sima Zhao's inner path. But they see it through but don't speak it out, they treat it as a joke. Yi Tianya not only made it clear, but also mocked He Daqing, making it difficult for them to laugh or not. Don't listen to him talk nonsense about things that don't exist, things that don't exist. He Yuzhu defended with a flushed face and clenched his fist with gritted teeth. Yi Tianya, you bastard, how dare you accuse me and Qin of our innocence? I want you to look good. He punched Yi Tianya in the face as he spoke. Yi Tianya didn't expect him to become angry and embarrassed so quickly. Subconsciously, he used his hand to block his fist and kicked it out again. He Yuzhu was kicked back several steps and knocked down Jia Zhangshi behind him before stopping. Jia Zhang was caught off guard and knocked unconscious on the spot. He Yuzhu couldn't get up for half a day because his stomach was tumbling over her. Yi Tianya, who had only a few pounds of flesh, actually flipped over He Yuzhu, the god of war in the courtyard, with one foot. This scene stunned all the onlookers. They will never know that Yi Tianya has just been injected with super serum. Despite appearing thin on the surface, he has transformed into a superhuman. If it weren't for the fact that the medicinal effect hadn't been maximized yet, He Yuzhu might have been kicked out by him. My goodness, why is Tianya so amazing? Silly Zhu was kicked away by him with one kick, how hard it took. When he returned in the afternoon, he was still very ill and couldn't even walk steadily. Amidst the chatter of neighbors, Yi Tianya slowly walked up to He Yuzhu and picked him up with one hand. Tianya, what do you want? Hurry up and put down the pillar. Yi Zhonghai let out a loud roar. Pop. Yi Tianya ignored Yi Zhonghai directly and slapped He Yuzhu in the face. He Yuzhu's right face swelled up as a result. Stop, stop, I told you to stop, didn't you hear me? Yi Zhonghai rushed up and grabbed Yi Tianya's arm, trying to save He Yuzhu. Even if all the strength of breastfeeding is exhausted, it will be of no use. Yi Zhonghai, do you also want to be beaten up? Yi Tianya said coldly. As soon as these words were spoken, the crowd and the bangs were once again taken aback. You should know that Yi Zhonghai is the steward of the courtyard and has a very high reputation. No one in the courtyard has ever dared to speak to him like this. Tianya, I kindly advise you not to fight. Do you still want to take action against me? Yi Zhonghai scolded. Kind-hearted. Haha. Yi Tianya laughed heartily. If he were really kind, he wouldn't let silly Zhu come to my house and cause trouble. Yi Zhonghai appears fair on the surface and is also willing to help others. But as long as it involves He Yuzhu and the Jia family, their buttocks will be crooked. Otherwise, there wouldn't be the current farce. I want to give silly Zhu a long memory. If you keep getting in the way, even you will clean up together. After Tianya finished speaking, he pushed Zhonghai away and then slapped Zhu in the face. Zhu's head was buzzing when he was hit, completely stunned, and he even forgot to resist. Chapter 6. Strong and Powerful Establishment. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Just as Tianya was slapping Zhu in the face, Chen Yi walked into the backyard carrying a food box. Behind him were two girls wearing red cotton jackets. They immediately rushed to the edge of Tianya upon seeing this. One person twisted his ear and the other pulled his arm. Tianya, younger brother, if you don't learn to fight, do you owe a beating again? The girl with twisted ears laughed. Tianya, it's not good to fight. Why don't you let go quickly? The girl holding hands followed. I'll let it go, I'll let it go, I'll let it go right away. Snow sister, Bing sister, don't get angry. Tianya, as if her blood had been suppressed, panicked and threw Zhu to the ground. The girl who taught him a lesson is Chen Yi's twin daughters. One is named Chen Ningxue, and the other is named Chen Ningbing. I am 19 years old this year, with a beautiful appearance, a tall figure, very pure, and very youthful. The biggest difference between the two is that their older sister Chen Ningxue appears more refined with glasses on. My predecessor has been their follower since childhood, and I have been beaten by them many times. Tianya has all the memories of her predecessor, and subconsciously, she is inevitably afraid of them. Humph, for the sake of being obedient, I'll let you go first. After Chen Ningbing finished speaking, she released Tianya's ear. Tianya, why are you fighting? Chen Ningxue asked. Tianya quickly explained the causes and consequences of the entire incident. Chen Yi furrowed his brow as he listened. Chen Ningxue's two sisters were very angry and confused. In an era where fame is more important than life, Zhang accused Tianya of being a thief, and only getting a few slaps was considered a cheap deal for her. If they were Tianya, they would have to beat her to the ground and look for her teeth. As for Zhu, who caused trouble, he deserved to be beaten up. But they still have a question that they can't figure out. Tianya has always been weak and doesn't even know how to argue with people, let alone fight. But this time he was exceptionally tough, taking action whenever he wanted, unlike him in his usual way. More importantly, he was able to defeat the towering Zhu, which greatly exceeded their expectations. Master Yi, you are the steward of the courtyard. How could you let Tianya be bullied? Although his parents are no longer here, my uncle is still here. Chen Yi suppressed his doubts and turned to questioning Zhonghai. Director Chen, you misunderstood. I was already trying to persuade them not to fight earlier, but Tianya scolded me and even resorted to violence against me. Everyone saw this, Zhonghai said with a bitter smile. Zhonghai, silly Zhu brought Zhang to my house to cause trouble. You just watch from the side. When I'm going to clean up silly Zhu, you'll come out and pull the crossbar. Now you're pretending to be innocent, what kind of bullshit are you? Tianya retorted and then stepped on Zhu's hand. Ah! Zhu pretended to be dead on the ground, but the excruciating pain in his hands made him scream. Silly pillar, give you a chance and apologize to me immediately, otherwise I'll waste you, Tianya said coldly. I'm sorry, I was wrong. Please forgive me. Zhu begged for mercy repeatedly. He had already felt the ferocity of Tianya and dared not take risks with his right hand. So even if it means losing face, we have to beg for mercy. Remember, if you provoke me again in the future, your hands will be like this. Tianya stomped on his own steps. The steps made of bluestone slabs suddenly split into pieces. Everyone was stunned, including the father and daughter of the Chen family. Punish the thugs and reward 10 points of merit. The sound of the system prompt brought joy to Tianya's heart. He shouted at Hiyuzhu, "Get lost." Hiyuzhu was so scared that he crawled back to the courtyard. Others also cleverly slipped away. Jia Zhang was carried back to the courtyard by Yi Zhonghai like a dead pig. Soon, there were only Chen Yuyi's family of 3 and Yi Tianya left in the yard. "Tianya, younger brother, you are so imposing." Chen Ningbing smiled and twisted Yi Tianya's arm. "Hurry up and tell me the truth, how could you become so powerful?" "Xiao Bing, don't be fooling around anymore. Tianya is still a patient," Chen Yuyi said with a stern face. "Dad, look where he looks like a patient." Chen Ningbing pouted. "That's true. Tianya, what's wrong with you?" Chen Yuyi carefully scrutinized Yi Tianya, his eyes full of surprise. Yi Tianya was full of vitality, and her face was even more distinctive with a pale red hue. Just now, he was able to beat up Hiyuzhu and break the blue stone with 1 foot. Compared to the 6 seedlings at noon, they are completely different. "Uncle, I think I was stimulated by my physical potential when I was on the brink of death." Yi Tianya pondered for a moment and then fabricated a set of excuses. From a weak chicken to a superhero, concealment is impossible and can only be fabricated. Anyway, he did indeed die once today, and they have to believe it if they don't believe it. Is there such a good thing? Chen Yuyi hesitated. It should be considered a blessing in disguise. "I have endless strength now, I can kill a cow with just 1 punch." Yi Tianya said half truthfully and half falsely. "Tianya, younger brother, just you with small arms and thin legs, you can't even beat me, can you still beat a bull? You can't even brag without making a draft." Chen Ningbing smiled. When she was a child, Yi Tianya was often beaten up and ran around. Even if he grows up now, he still sees her like a mouse touching a cat. Yes, Sister Bing, you are much more powerful than me. I am not your opponent." Yi Tianya chuckled. "Dad, Tianya must be hungry. Let's talk slowly when he finishes eating." Chen Ningxue interjected and pulled Yi Tianya back to the house. Chen Yuyi also carried a food box and entered the door with Chen Ningbing. Chapter 7. Excessive Prices. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After Chen Yuyi entered the house, he put the double-layered food box on the table and opened it. At the top is a plate of pork liver fried with black fungus. At the bottom is a large bowl of millet and red jujube congee and 2 boiled eggs. "Uncle, where did you get these things from?" Yi Tianya exclaimed in surprise. "Nowadays, the market has run out of fresh meat supply. To buy pig liver, you need to obtain a hospital-issued certificate and go to a designated place to purchase it. Auricularia auricula, red dates, and xiaomi are only available in small quantities during specific holidays. Eggs, as a special item, are only supplied to special personnel." Chen Yuyi's ability to gather such a meal for him must have cost him a fortune. Pig liver was exchanged for the canned food you gave, xiaomi and red dates were brought back by Xiaobing from school, and eggs and fungus were borrowed by Xiaoxue from her classmates. Chen Yuyi smiled. Their family's conditions are also average, he has to support 6 people with 1 salary. Fortunately, Chen Ningxue's sisters applied for a financial aid after she went to college, otherwise life would be more difficult than that of Yi Tianya's family. So although they really want to take care of Yi Tianya more, they are limited by their own conditions. If it weren't for his excessive blood loss and urgent need for improvement this time, they wouldn't be so extravagant. "Uncle Chen, Sister Xue, Sister Bing, thank you all." Yi Tianya solemnly bowed and thanked the father and daughter. In this era where everyone can't eat enough, they can still go to great lengths to prepare a sumptuous dinner for him to make up for. He warmed his heart and was also filled with gratitude towards them. "Tianya, don't be polite. Hurry up and eat while it's hot," Chen Ningxue said and went to the cabinet to fetch chopsticks and spoons. Compared to her quirky sister Chen Ningbing, she is more gentle and virtuous. Yi Tianya's predecessor liked her very much, and even developed feelings of admiration for her. Unfortunately, this naive relationship ended before it could even begin. Chen Ningxue was admitted to the Capital Medical College with excellent grades and became a college student. My predecessor was just a high school student, and even Chen Yui helped me find a job. I realized that the gap was too big. In order not to delay Chen Ningxue's promising future, she decisively cut off her love. Shuejie, heat up the canned food and let's eat together. Yi Tianya brought 4 cans from the inner room and handed them to Chen Ningxue. Brother Tianya, you're too extravagant. Chen Ningbing interjected. Sister, isn't it just canned food? Just eat it. Yi Tianya said nonchalantly. Others treat canned meat as a treasure, but they only treat it as regular food. Moreover, there is nothing else at home to entertain guests, so we can only make do with it. A can of meat in Pigeon City can be sold for 3.4 yuan or exchanged for 2 pounds of food stamps. Your meal is equivalent to eating your own monthly salary, you know. Chen Ningbing couldn't help but say. So expensive. Yi Tianya exclaimed in surprise. Last year, many places starved to death. Can food prices not be expensive? Some people in our school are secretly purchasing food vouchers at a price of 1.5 yuan per kilogram, and then taking them to the pigeon market to make a profit. Chen Ningbing whispered. We are currently in a period of great famine. The food supply for urban residents is limited, and they can barely guarantee not to starve to death. Farmers do not have a fixed amount of food, and many starve to death. Many people can only go to the pigeon market to buy high-priced food in order to survive or have enough to eat. The food prices in Pigeon City have naturally skyrocketed beyond people's imagination. The most scarce fine grain ticket has risen to 2 yuan per kilogram, while the flour in the grain shop only costs 0.135 yuan per kilogram. The food that can be bought with money is good, even if you have money, you may not be able to buy it. Chen Yui took over the conversation. Nowadays, no matter what you buy, you not only need money but also tickets. Buying grain requires grain tickets, buying meat requires meat tickets, buying cloth requires cloth tickets, and so on. Without tickets, money is like waste paper, and flowers cannot be spent. The trading in Pigeon Market is also mainly based on barter. Apart from professional ticket dealers, there are very few people willing to directly collect money. Tianya, you can save some of these canned foods. You don't even know if meat will be served during the Chinese New Year. Chen Yui said again. Uncle, I have a way to get more meat. You can rest assured to eat it. As Yi Tianya spoke, he opened all 4 canned meat cans and poured them into an iron pot. Chen Ningxue couldn't stop in time, so she had to add water to the iron pot and stew meat soup to drink. Zhongyuan, Jia family. Jia Zhang finally woke up after being frantically pinched by Aunt Yi. Mom, how do you feel? Are you feeling better? Qin Huairu asked. After Jia Zhang was knocked unconscious by He Yuzhu in the previous meeting, he was carried back to the courtyard by Yi Zhonghai and Lu Haizhong. Originally, everyone suggested sending her to the hospital for treatment, but Qin Huairu did not let her go in order to save money. I just poured a basin of cold water to wipe her face, and then asked Aunt Yi to help wake her up. Oh my, it hurts me so much. I'm going to scold Yi Tianya, who killed thousands of dollars. Jia Zhang sat up with a mournful cry, ready to go to the backyard to trouble Yi Tianya again. Old sister. Law, do you still want to be slapped by him again? Yi Zhonghai said straightforwardly. Jia Zhang recalled the feeling of being slapped in the front yard in the afternoon, and her body couldn't help but tremble. If he has the ability, just kill me, otherwise I won't end up with him, she said stiffly. Sister-in-law, what happened today was that you and Zhu were at odds. If you go to trouble him again, even if he beats you half to death, no one will say he's not. Why do you have to suffer like this? Aunt Yi earnestly said a fair word. Old sister. Law, with just one kick from the ends of the earth, you can fly pillars several meters and break blue stone steps. If you kick you will be disabled even if you don't die. It's better to be safe. Zhonghai continued. Yi Tianya's explosive force value completely intimidated the neighbors of the courtyard house. Even the cunning Yi Zhonghai felt scared. Moreover, he has Qin Yi's support. If it's not necessary, they really don't want to provoke him anymore. By the way, what about silly Zhu? He knocked me out just now and wants to compensate me for my medical expenses. Zhang took advantage of the slope and pointed her spear at He Yuzhu, who was standing up for her. Yi Zhonghai and Aunt Yi were speechless, and Qin Huairu rolled her eyes. Just because they have never seen anyone more shameless than Zhang. Chapter 8. First Lottery. You are listening at novelfull.audio. At 8 p.m., Chen Yi and his daughter bid farewell and left. Before leaving, Chen Ningxue brought back the dirty clothes that Yi Tianya had changed into for cleaning. After her predecessor's mother passed away, she did this many times. Yi Tianya saw them off and locked the door, silently reciting a sentence in his heart. System, open the property panel. When a dense row of data appeared, he only focused on his own four-dimensional and merit. Strength. 301, normal person 60.100, can be increased, agility. 312, normal person 60.100, can be improved, physical strength. 456, normal person 60.100, can be improved, intelligence. 81, average 60.100, merit. 1009, can participate in beginner and intermediate level lucky draws, super serum significantly improved his physical fitness. The strength, agility, and stamina have increased by more than 5 times compared to before. Especially in terms of physical strength, it has almost doubled by 8 times. With persistent exercise, there will be a qualitative leap forward, ultimately becoming a superhero-like existence. Yi Tianya suppressed the joy in his heart and issued the command again. System, I want an intermediate merit lottery. The host's first lottery will increase the prize level by 1 level and the chance of winning the big prize by 10 times. After the system prompted the sound, a colorful large wheel appeared in front of Yi Tianya. The wheel has 24 squares in 5 colors. Red, orange, yellow, green, and blue. 12 red squares, 6 orange squares, 3 yellow squares, 2 green squares, and 1 blue square. The prizes in each grid are different. The prize in the blue grid is divine speed power. The prizes in the green grid are room temperature superconductor technology and the biohazard movie world, restricted. The prizes in the yellow squares are X.ray eyes, US Team Serum, and seawater desalination technology. The prizes in the orange grid include NZT.48 pills, master-level calligraphy skills, advanced combat mastery, and so on. The prizes in the red squares are much worse. In addition to relatively cheap goods such as 1,000 yuan in cash, 100 grams of gold, and 100 kilograms of rice. Thank you for patronizing words that can make people vomit blood. Yi Tianya's eyes were blurred and her heart rate unconsciously accelerated. After taking several breaths in a row, I barely calmed down and then silently prayed with my hands clasped together. Blessed by heaven, blessed by Taoist ancestors, blessed by God. I must draw the divine speed power. Having divine speed is equivalent to becoming another Flash. Not only can it run at lightning speed, but it can also travel through time and space, reverse time, and even shuttle through the multiverse. If we could win it in the intermediate lottery, it would be like a little bull crying a little cow. The cow is dead. After begging all the gods and Buddhas in the sky, he nervously pressed the white button in the middle of the turntable. The golden pointer spun rapidly on the wheel until it slowed down 1 minute later. Apache helicopter, it's over. The Yangtze River 750 motorcycle has passed. Intermediate traditional Chinese medicine skills, passed. As the golden pointer gradually slowed down, Yi Tianya's heart was almost in her throat. Divine speed, divine speed. He kept roaring in his heart. Contrary to expectations, the golden pointer brushed past the blue grid. The final freeze was on the green grid. Resident Evil Movie World, Limited. Grass, what kind of thing is this? What use do I need it for? Yi Tianya can't hold her tension anymore. What other prizes are useful for is basically clear at a glance. I only don't know what this world is useful for. And what he wants most is divine speed, followed by advanced combat proficiency. Even if it's not enough, he can use a traditional Chinese medicine skill. Just as he was still complaining, the system beeped one after another. Congratulations to the host for drawing the qualification to teleport to the world of Resident Evil movies. The host does nothing in the world of Resident Evil movies that will generate merit and karma. Any gains made by the host in the Resident Evil movie world can be brought back to the main world, except for viruses. The host can only go alone and needs to pay a toll of 100 grams of gold per hour. The host can stay for a maximum of 3 hours and a minimum of 1 hour each time. After listening to the system's introduction to the rules of the Resident Evil movie world, Yi Tianya almost spat out a mouthful of old blood. Not to mention 100 grams of gold, he doesn't even have 1 gram of gold, and drawing this reward is equivalent to drawing it for nothing. Fortunately, the qualification obtained is permanent and can be passed after accumulating enough gold. Otherwise, it would be a waste of time. This is the first lottery with a special bonus. Hey, where are we going to get gold? Yi Tianya murmured to herself. At present, the Great Han Dynasty implements gold control, and gold can only be purchased by the public. Individuals cannot buy or sell gold, nor can they wear gold or silver. He wants to gather 100 grams of gold. It's not an easy task. By the way, her family has a lot of gold. Yi Tianya suddenly remembered a person in her mind. Lu Xiaoa. Lu Xiaoa is the daughter of Lu Zhengsheng, the major shareholder of the steel rolling mill. Lu Zhengsheng was known as the half-city of Lu before the liberation. Even though many assets have been jointly invested in the past few years, they are still wealthy. In the TV drama, Lu Xiao's theft of small yellow croaker and gold and silver jewelry at home is the best proof. But she hasn't married Su Damao yet. How to get to know her is another challenge. Chapter 9. Super Stomach King. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The next morning, Yi Tianya woke up from being held up by urine and groped his pillow in a daze. The unexpected phone that I didn't touch reminded me of my time traveling. When will this kind of bitter life end? Sigh. Yi Tianya let out a long sigh and got up to put on a tattered cotton jacket and pants. The courtyard life in the 1960s was very boring and monotonous. There were no entertainment activities, and even the electricity stopped after 8 o'clock. People with wives can still play poker to pass the time, while single dogs like him can only stare blankly at the roof. He tossed and turned on the hard wooden bed for a long time last night, and only managed to fall asleep in the early morning. Good morning, Tianya. Tianya, you're in good spirits today. When Yi Tianya arrived at the public restroom outside the courtyard, many neighbors took the initiative to greet him. This is something that has never happened before, just because he gave a big blow last night and made Hiyuju lose his temper. Such divine power not only intimidated many people, but also won a lot of favor. Good morning, everyone. Yi Tianya arched his hand in return and frowned slightly. There are no toilets inside the courtyard in Nanluoga Lane, and all residents can only access public toilets for convenience. The pit space in public toilets is limited, and those who arrive late can only wait in line. So even though he was in a hurry, he could only wait behind a long queue. At this moment, Hiyuju also came to use the restroom. When enemies meet, their eyes turn red. As soon as he saw Yi Tianya, his face changed and he unconsciously clenched his fist. Yesterday, he was trampled underfoot by Tianya, which he regarded as a great shame. What's even more infuriating is that Zhang later asked him for medical expenses, saying he hit her. All sorts of factors combined, he wished he could devour Tianya alive. Tianya also saw Siheyuan, but chose to ignore him. Humph. After all, Siheyuan didn't dare to take action and left with a cold snort. He was scared by Tianya and didn't want to hear anyone else's sarcasm, so he had to go somewhere else for convenience. Half an hour later, Tianya finished using the restroom and returned home. I was preparing to heat up a few canned meat for breakfast, but the coal stove had already turned off. Getting up in the morning and returning home from work every day to exchange coal cakes for the coal stove is a must-do for residents of a courtyard house. He, as a traveler, doesn't remember this incident and can only start a new fire. The process of reigniting a fire is both simple and complex. Firstly, it is necessary to clean the coal slag in the coal furnace, then ignite the ignition coal with lit grass paper, put the ignition coal into the coal furnace and add new coal cakes, and finally use a fan to burn the coal cakes red. If it weren't for the complete memory of his predecessor, he wouldn't have done these trivial things at all. After all, coal stoves were already phased out in the last few years, and either induction cookers or gas stoves were used at home. Just as he kept fanning towards the stove with a fan, Chen Ningxue walked in carrying a lunchbox. Tianya, you careless person, forgot to change the coal cake again. Xiaoxue, why did you come? Tianya put down the fan in his hand and stood up to say hello. Chen Ningxue was slightly stunned when she heard him call her name directly. Why don't you call me sister? Isn't this afraid of calling you old? Don't you like it? Tianya smiled. He is already in his 30s psychologically, so why bother calling him a yellow-haired girl sister? What I called so smoothly yesterday was just influenced by my predecessor's subconscious. Today he has completely returned to normal and naturally won't scream anymore. Forget it, do as you please. My mother is afraid that you are hungry, so let me send you some congee. Chen Ningxue opened the lunchbox she brought with her as she spoke. One lunchbox contains congee cooked with stick noodles, and the other has mantou with white noodles. Xiaoxue, your family doesn't have much food either. Don't send me food in the future, said Tianya. You don't have to worry about the food, hurry up and eat it while it's hot. Chen Ningxue took the fan from his hand to help fan and urged him to eat. Tianya took 2 cans from the back room and poured them into congee. After stirring, she ate them with a big mouth. In less than 3 minutes, I ate a large box of congee, 2 cans and 4 white flour mantou. But so much food didn't satisfy him, so he went to the inner room and brought 4 cans. Under Chen Ningxue's stunned gaze, all 4 greasy canned beef went into his stomach in a flash. Tianya, why are you eating so much? Are you okay? No, I just feel hungry. Tianya shook her head. Super serum has improved his physical fitness and made his body more eager for nutrition. If there is not enough nutrition, the newly improved physical fitness will gradually decline. Therefore, he needs to eat a lot of food, and it also needs to be a high-nutrient food like meat. Tianya, I'll accompany you to the hospital for a check-up. There's something wrong with you. Chen Ningxue said anxiously. Just now, Tianya ate several pounds of food in one go, which was clearly not normal behavior. She was very worried. Hi, can't you just eat a little? Why bother? As Tianya spoke, he took out a food receipt and changed the topic with the Heisher. Xiaoxue, can you and Xiaobing help me buy some food? Going to a grain shop to buy grain not only requires a long queue, but also depends on the supply situation. He waited in line lazily to ask Chen Ningxue's sisters to help him. Chapter 10. Going into the mountains to dig for food. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Tianya, do you want someone to help you exchange it for a coarse grain ticket? Chen Ningxue took the money and ticket, glanced at them, and casually asked. There are two types of grain tickets. Fine grain tickets and coarse grain tickets. Fine grain coupons can be used to buy white flour, rice, or any coarse grain. Coarse grain tickets can only buy coarse grains such as glutinous rice, millet, and sorghum. There is a certain price difference between the two. Many people in difficult families will exchange fine grain vouchers for coarse grain vouchers, in order to buy as much food as possible and go home. She was afraid that Tianya might not have enough food to eat, which is why she asked this question. Don't bother, buy half the flour and half the rice. Take the flour home and give me the rice, Tianya replied. Give us half of it. It's rare for you to be so generous. Chen Ningxue joked. Isn't this just a small fortune? It's a good time to show filial piety to my uncle and aunt, Tianya smiled. Chen Yi's family is very kind to their predecessor, and this time they have brought food one after another. Even if he didn't have much emotional connection with them, he was quite moved and willing to recognize this relative. After all, humans are social animals and need to be accompanied by family and friends. He has no relatives in this world, and having an extra relative is also good. If you have this intention, then Xiaobing and I will go buy rice later. Chen Ningxue smiled. Whatever you want. By the way, Xiaoxue, can you lend me a compass? Tianya suddenly asked. What are you borrowing a compass for? Chen Ningxue exclaimed in surprise. I want to go into the mountain to find food, Tianya replied. It's almost impossible to get meat in the city nowadays unless you go grab it. So he can only focus on the mountainous areas of the capital city. I hope to rely on my strong physical fitness to engage in some game and supplement nutrition, while also exercising my body. But it's easy to get lost in the deep mountains and forests, and you need a compass to guide you. Chen Ningxue's sisters is a college student in the capital city, so it's easier to borrow a compass that ordinary people can't get. 1 o'clock in the afternoon. The terminal station of the 345 bus on the outskirts of the capital city. Not far away is the famous 13 Tombs. Tianya spent 20 cents and took a bus for over 2 hours to get here. Not to see the emperor's tomb, but to explore the surrounding mountains. The food that can be eaten in the mountainous areas near the city has already been consumed by people. If you want to feed your hunger with wild animals, you can only go to the remote mountains and forests where people are rarely seen. The 13 tombs have not yet been developed and there are few residents, making it a good place to take chances. Not long after Tianya got off the car, he started the racing mode. I ran for over 2 hours in one breath and climbed over 8 bare hills. The great steelmaking caused damage to the trees on the mountain, and the Great Famine almost wiped out the wild animals on the mountain. Finally, on the 9th mountain, I saw some withered and yellow plants, and heard the chirping of insects and birds. This is already considered deep in the mountains, and ordinary people find it difficult to reach and dare not come over. Because there are often jackals, wolves, tigers, and leopards in this place, the danger level is very high. Only experienced hunters or specialized large hunting teams will come on adventures. Just as Tianya stopped to take a sip of water and take a breath, a gray rabbit darted past him. He finally encountered a wild animal and couldn't miss it, so he immediately set out to chase after it. The wild rabbit sometimes burrows into the withered yellow grass, and sometimes runs under the big tree, making him almost always there. After a period of difficult escape, the panicked rabbit finally escaped into a valley. There is a faint smell of sulfur in the air of the valley, and there are also several places emitting hot air. Tianya was overjoyed at the sight. Haha! Little rabbit, thank you so much. I will definitely give you a good time later. After sighing, he rushed towards the panting rabbit. The wild rabbit was exhausted from running for a long time and only dodged 2 or 3 times before being caught by him with its long ears. Tianya immediately took out tools such as kitchen knives and scissors from the ring, slaughtered them, bled them, peeled them, and removed their internal organs. The whole process was completed in one go, and the rabbit didn't feel much pain before embarking on the road, which can be considered as fulfilling its promise to it. Later, he took out a few iron bars and built a simple barbecue grill. Simply sprinkle some salt on the rabbit's body and hang it on the barbecue grill, ready to grill and eat. It's not that he doesn't want to bake it better, there really isn't any other seasoning available. You should know that even salt now needs to be purchased with a resident non-staple food purchase certificate, and each household only supplies 1 caddy per month. Seasonings such as Sichuan pepper, seasonings, and chili peppers are only supplied in small quantities during festivals and holidays. So in this era, people can only taste salty taste. Ignite the coal cake and slowly roast the rabbit, while Tianya carefully scrutinizes this unnamed valley. The valley is only the size of a sports stadium, and the trees have a bit more greenery than the ones outside. The hot air from the hot springs wafts into the air, interweaving with the cold wind to form a unique smoke, making people feel like they are in a fairyland. Tianya also enjoyed the primitive beauty of nature and started building a shelter after eating up the entire wild rabbit. He plans to stay in the mountains for a few more days. On the one hand, I hope to get as much food as possible to completely solve the problem of eating. On the other hand, it is to exercise the body and maximize the efficacy of super serum. In addition, he also wants to verify the effect of advanced plant growth fluid.